Hi Sean, first of all, can we just start with your reaction to the cup draw last night, obviously facing Fulham in the quarter-final?
Another Premier League side at home though. We want to add to the home mentality. I think it's growing. Like I said, early season, I think performances were there, the outcome wasn't, but we're getting the outcome right now, and we certainly did last night. So we'll look forward to that game.
How different then a proposition are Everton now compared to the side that faced Fulham on the opening day of the season?
Well, like I said, it's a hard one to judge because I thought the opening day of the season was a very good performance. We didn't get on the right side of the result, but the performance was certainly there. So I think, you'd like to think when you keep your performance levels high, I've spoken endlessly, and I did again last night about consistency and the mentality, the consistency of the mentality, in every game we play. So I think we're kind of getting rewards for sticking at it and sticking to what we believe and sticking to what the team's delivering because, like I said, I thought it was a very good performance against Fulham in the first game of the season. Difference is now we're taking chances, we're still creating, and we're defending very well.
That potency really has developed, hasn't it, up top?
Yeah, I mean, our chance count is slightly less, but the finishing is improving, and getting goals from other positions as well. Not just relying on the striker, which is obviously a focus of a striker, but other parts of their game and allowing other players to come in and score goals. So we're pleased with that.
It's 5 wins from 7. That was after just 1 win in 6. What does that also say about the mentality of your squad to have recovered the way they have?
Yeah, I mean, what you're constantly looking for is, like I said, the consistency of the mentality, win or lose. And I felt when I got here, and it's still there somewhat, it's kind of super high when the team, the club win, and it drops off radically when they lose. And I said to the team, we've got to find a more level view of it and really stick to our guns with our performance levels, our individual performance levels, the team performance levels, our game planning, and stick with that. And that's, well, currently, it's work in progress, of course, but we're still working towards that. And currently it is paying us back because I think our performance levels have been high and we're now getting the outcomes.
Are you seeing more resilience in them as well? I'm thinking, obviously, the victory over West Ham away, the victory over Aston Villa in the Cup away, victory over Brentford away as well. At times you've had to dig in during all of those games.
Well, to go back to where I started, when I first came here, I said, respect and admire the past, but build a future. And I think there was, the best teams that have played here had a grittiness, a determination, an edge to their performances, as well as being able to play, as well as being good footballers. And I think we're searching for that, trying to find that combination. Because I've said all along, I think there's some talented players here, and the mentality towards being a tougher team, being or a modern tough team. You understand, you can't go around big tackles and stuff like that. You got to be clever with your toughness, but you've got an edge to your performances. And I think, of course, winning helps with that. But I think the players have been consistent with that and finding that tougher team ethic, if you like. So harder to be beat at one end of the pitch, and hopefully causing more trouble for the opposition in the top end of the pitch and scoring goals. And we're beginning to find that balance better.
Again, how are you looking squad-wise? How's Seamus? What's his progression?
Seamus is going well. He'll hopefully get involved in a game in the under-21s this weekend. He needs some game time, of course, but he's training very well, and I think he's pleased to be back on the grass.
Gomez and Dele a bit further away then.
Yeah, Dele's still got time to go. He's just back on the grass now. He's in a good place, though. I spoke to him the other day, had a chat with him, and he's in a good place, other than his injury, of course, frustrated by that. And that's... who's the other one who asked about? No, Dele would have covered him.
Oh, did Gomez?
Oh, yeah. Sorry, Andre, yes. Yeah, he's been very frustrated. He's got a niggly calf injury again, but he's coming back through that now.
It appears to be a bit of a frustrating time for Danjuma as well. It didn't quite happen for him last night. What does he need to do to kind of get through that?
He's certainly working hard. He's working hard in training. We wanted to try and free him up a little bit in that role last night. Excuse me. It's not easy when you're out the side, you get put back in, but he's certainly working hard, and he's working hard to adapt to the team. We know we feel is probably his best position is coming off the left, but for everyone who watched it, Dwight McNeil, I thought excellent last night, particularly second half. So there's a challenge there, but no, it's not easy to be put in, and then, sometimes you're playing, wondering are you in, are you out? But on the other hand, we tried to free him up and get in a role where he could use his talent because he's a talented player.
See that work rate actually. There was a pitch level yesterday. You could see the work rate from both Dwight and Jack as well on the wings. Yeah,
tremendous. We ask a lot of wide players, always have done in the teams that I've worked with, but they're willing and they've got quality, but they're also willing to do the hard yards. And I think, again, it adds to that mental toughness of the team we were just talking about.
And just on to Brighton, and when you look at what happened last season, obviously it was before you came in. Everton lost 4-1 away, but there was 4-1 at home. Yeah, there was
I remember the away one.
Yeah, you remember the away one,
yeah.
Exactly. I mean, that was, we saw Dominic Calvert-Lewin at his best that night as well.
No, I agree. I thought he was excellent. The team delivered a very good performance. I think they're a very good side. They still are. They've sold a couple of players, but they're still a good side. They're showing that. You have to be tactically right, but you have to impress yourself upon the game as well. I thought we did it very well away from home last season. We're going to have to do that again. Them coming up to Goodison, good feel about the team, and a good feel at Goodison at the minute. So we want to use all of them things to our advantage.
Sure. Thank you, Vinny. We'll go to Beto.
Hey.
Hi, Sean. You say there's a good feeling about the team at the moment. 5 wins in 7 games. I was just wondering, how much confidence does this give you going into that match against Brighton?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we've overly lacked confidence, but there's no two ways about it. That winning mentality, it grows, and it does add on to your confidence level, and it adds on to the belief, and it brings a more assured view of the team, I think. And apart from about 20 minutes last night, we went a little bit soft after scoring our goal. Didn't really threaten. We weren't threatened at the back, but we didn't play particularly well after that. I thought we looked strong. And I think that kind of that winning mentality, that winning edge, I think it is important. And the more you build it, the more wins you get, the more it grows. So we want to continue that whilst being, realising we're playing a very good side in Brighton.
Yeah, what sort of challenges are you expecting from Brighton?
Well, they flexed it slightly recently with going to sort of the 3 centre halves and changing slightly. But we know they're a passing side, often want to break through the middle of the pitch. And the biggest thing of all, I think you've got to be tactically aware. I think teams that have done well against them have delivered good tactical performances, as well as finding their own way into the game as well. So it's that, it often is, but it is a balance between being aware of the opposition and dealing with that, but then also playing your own game and breaking from the tactical sort of scenario to go and attack. And I think finding that balance is important. We did do towards the end of last season. We've got to do that again because they're showing again this season they're a very good side.
What do you make of Roberto De Zerbi? How impressed have you been sort of with him since he's taken over at Brighton?
Yeah, I didn't know of him. I'll be honest, I didn't know much about him before he came in, but he's done a very good job there. There's changing the way they work and the style and some of the players they've brought in and brought through. I'm sure that's not just him, the recruitment system as well. It looks like they've got it right the last couple of years. But yeah, they're a good side.
Right, great. Thank you very much.
What was from Mike Hughes at BBC Radio Merseyside?
Sean, talking about Brighton and their recruitment policy, they've had outrageous success in the past couple of seasons in particular. Has that meant clubs like Everton looking at their recruitment policy? Because I can remember hearing Paul Barber, the chief executive, saying that they shop in a different pool. They look in areas where other clubs don't because of their financial situation.
It's quite a healthy pool they've been shopping in down the years. If you look back about 4 or 5 years, I think you'll find they've spent quite a lot of money.
The players they've brought in from Ecuador in particular, and Kaoru Mitoma from Japan, and I know they had him over at Union Saint-Gilloise, and it's a different outlook. Caicedo, they've made a fortune on from Ecuador, and they've signed other players and made big profits. So would Everton, for example, look at maybe making changes to the way and how you...
I think we're all looking at the best way of recruiting. I think they cover a large part of the planet, I think that's right in saying. I think Matt Benham does a very similar thing at Brentford. They've been doing that for a long time. They know, and I know, and you probably do know, but they never get talked about. They've made a lot of mistakes along the way. It's taken a long time to get to where they've got to, and they've signed some very, very good players, I agree, the last couple of seasons, and coached them very well as of Brentford. But there's been a lot of work put into them systems for a lot of years before what you're talking about now. We're kind of remodelling constantly and then getting to a place now where I think we've recruited well within what we can do this summer. I think we've got a more balanced look at the team. Inevitably, somewhere down the line, things cost money, and that's something that we haven't had abundance of.
Looking at the match against Burnley, another really good contribution from Jack Harrison. And I know he's only just coming back after injury, but he works at both ends of the pitch. He sees things early. He's got an eye for goal. How much better can he get?
Well, first of all, was to get him fully fit. He came in injured, unfortunately. Excuse me, I've got a bit of a cold, but he's dealt with that side of things. He's got sharper, he's got fitter, and I think he's enjoying his football, and that's a big thing. I think he's infectious amongst the group, very good around the group before you even get him on the pitch, and he's got that way of playing, that busy nature, and he's a very good player, and he's been very effective for us so far. I think there's a number. I think Jared continues to do well. Jimmy Garner continues to do well. Amadou's good, getting a good partnership. Dwight, again, last night I thought was outstanding. So there's a lot of good signs, and it's about continuation now.
Yeah, and Beto came on, and his contribution off the bench was really good, close to a goal on a couple of occasions. Do you think he can benefit confidence-wise? Because when he came in, he played really well for a few matches. Then Dominic Calvert-Lewin was fit again, and not easy when you come in and you play a few games and then you're out. So do you think he can, benefit confidence?
He's just maturing into what it is. He's come to a new club. He's raw, he's rough and ready, but he's working hard at his game, and there's a lot of improvement to come, I think. I thought he came on and affected it last night. He'd had a couple of quiet spells before that, but he's adapting to the Premier League. It's different. Came in and hit the ground running at first, and if you like, maybe, I spoke to him a little bit about it, maybe he thinks he needs to be a bit more polished, but he actually doesn't. We like the rawness. We want him to be raw. We want him to be hungry and show that in a natural way, and I thought he did that coming on last night.
He's really quick, isn't he? For
he is, very quick, yeah.
Okay, I'll go to Cal, the Press Association next.
Hi, Sean. That victory at Brighton towards the end of last season, would you class that as the best performance you've had from the side since you've been?
I think tactically it was, and not necessarily the best performance overall. But I think tactically the players delivered a good week's training and took it into the game, responded to the challenge in front of them. Obviously they were high flying at the time, and we delivered a very good sort of tactical understanding performance, and of course the way of them breaking from it, not just absorbing them but actually attacking them and using the threat that we had. So I think from that point of view, from the coach's point of view, and working with the players and them taking on the information and delivery, that was very pleasing.
So if it's not the best performance, it's the most satisfying for you as a manager, that may be?
The most satisfying was one the last game of the season, I can assure you, without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah. And just what difference psychologically does it make looking up the table rather than looking over your shoulder?
Well, I'm not obsessed with the table at this stage. I always say, it's a season's work for me. It always has been, because the ups and downs, you've got to manage them, but you've got to manage them as a team, not just me, the players, the individuals. I'm really looking at the plan for the season, but so far I'm thinking there's progress, and that was the first marker. From the last couple of seasons, can we progress? Can we look like a stronger unit? Can we look like a more effective unit? And I think there's strong signs of that, with how we're playing. And then you add the results in. A couple have got away from us, which I think, we probably deserved. But if you added them in, we'd certainly be in very good shape. And I think it's paying us back lately.
And as you said before, it puts a different spin on perspective of how you're perceived when you're winning games.
Yeah, I'm not really worried about that. Me individually, you mean?
No,
the team. But I think that's natural. I think, there's an underbelly of diehard fans who probably look at Everton as a side and the delivery of performance. There's equally fans who just look at results. That's the way the industry is, and inevitably you are judged on results. You're not judged all the time on performances. It's helpful, and I think people can see a future in performances if they're good and there's consistency. But you're actually judged on what the wins are. So I've always been aware of that, but I know the work that goes in to the process to get them wins. So I've been pleased with the work, pleased with the performances in many ways. But of course, I'm always hungry for more. I felt that we should have more points on the board. I think the players do, but I think they're now beginning to add to the performances of early season by finding that hardy edge to defend properly and defend with that resolute nature, and equally attack with that bit more freedom and to score goals and feel loose and free to score goals, particularly at Goodison. That's what we've got to change, and we are beginning to change it.
Thank you, Carl. We'll go to Will next, please.
Hi, Sean. Vitalii Mykolenko wasn't fit at the start of the season. Since he's come back in the team, looks like he's given you a lot more balance down that left-hand side, and you think the game's...
Yeah, he's doing well. When I got here, I thought he was a good defender. I think we're still adapting him to his attacking game, but I think he's defending very well. He's got a lot of strengths to his game, and I think he's enjoying it as well.
Well, that's what I was about to ask you. Do you like having that solidity from him, or do you want him to now hone his attacking side of his game?
Well, I certainly think he can develop further with that side of his game, because he can play, he can find a pass, he's got good energy, good pace, but he is a defender first of all, and I like defenders to be defenders, and I think he is, and I think he's showing that. He's done very well against some very, very good players over his time, and particularly since he got back fit, as you rightly mentioned. He's very unlucky with that. Going from last season, and now that he's back to real Premier League fitness from getting the games under his belt, I think he's looking sharper and stronger each game.
Both Josh Wander and Farhad Moshiri at the game last night and at West Ham. Are you still in discussions with both in regards to the takeover?
Me personally?
Yeah,
No,
background, or you
no, I don't
just-
get involved in them discussions, trust me.
Obviously, January is just around the corner. Is there any discussions with, say, 777 or?
No, we just, me and Kev, obviously, with the recruitment department and the staff, we talk about things, but no, we're not talking about all the bigger picture stuff that's to come over the next few months.
Do you know, heading into January, it'll come around quite quickly, especially when you get through December?
It will.
Do you still think that it will be difficult financially for the club, or do you think there might be a little
We'll
bit
see.
more scope?
At the moment, if all things being given are the same, then yes. I mean, I don't think there hasn't been a massive amount of finance there. That's quite obvious. I think we've done well by making finance come into the club and then balancing off with players coming in. It might be much the same. We'll wait and see.
Thank you, Will. Any more questions in the open section? Right, thank you, everyone. We'll now move
Cheers.